Hi, welcome to my review of 4 18th scale Porsche 911 model cars, going from 1976 through to 93, 94 I think. So we've got one AutoArt die-cast car with opening parts and 3 GT Spirit sealed, closed resin model cars. So the AutoArt 930 Turbo in Martini colours, the GT Spirit Rüf CTR Yellowbird, then the GT Spirit Röhl 964 RS and a GT Spirit 964 RS 3.8. Okay, so we're going to start with the oldest first, so they are in chronological order there, and it is a lovely traditional die-cast model with opening features we'll come to. Now, if I start off with the overall proportions of this car, they're spot on. They're spot on. The spoiler is correct here. Obviously 911s went through a number of spoilers. This is not the Carrera spoiler and it's not the intercooled turbo spoiler. This is the pre-intercooled turbo spoiler. So there's a fair amount of space here where the traditional engine cover goes down underneath, but then you've got the spoiler with just the flick on the end. Later turbos with the intercoolers had that filled in and they had upturned edges here and here. So a different car, more elegant spoiler perhaps, more in tune with the Carrera spoiler. In fact, if we just peek over here to a Carrera spoiler, you'll see it's quite a slim spoiler. It's on top there. Right, okay, going back to the AutoArt car, we've got Fuchs alloy wheels, 5-spoke, and again, along with the overall proportions of the car, the ride height is spot on. The wheel and tyre sizes are spot on. Excellent detail, headlights, headlight washers, lamps, the turbo script on the number plate there, Martini stripes of course. Beautiful car. Let's get to the back and the proper turbo badging plus again the number plate. So everything's well represented. If we look in underneath, we'll have a quick peek at the underside of the car. Good amount of detail on the engine. You'd actually say there's an engine there, and that's partly because it's an opening model. You've even got the front horns there in red. Great tyre tread detail there, and lovely tyres. So let's look inside the car. And first of all, there you go. You see the top side of the engine that we were just looking at. Plenty of reasonable amount of detail there, spot on. You've got all the parts, you've got the stickers, and so on. And if we look in the left-hand door, so this is a left-hand drive car, see what we can get into there. We're trying to get some exposure. There's a lot of white here, lightening it up. If I get my camera right in, yeah, you can see the detail there. Seatbelt buckles, and the seat belts on the side here. Traditional seats from a 911 of that era. And we'll look now in the front. And yeah, just a plain and simple appropriate front. The glass, inverted commas, is excellent. You've got lovely detail on the rear demister. Of course, because this is an opening model, you can end up with a little bit of dirt on the inside of the car, but this one's been in my case, sealed case, with the doors shut. I'm not really a fan of having models open. You lose the purity of line of the car when you're looking at it. Front wheels obviously articulating. Obviously the kingpin position, so the axis of turn is too far inboard, as is usual with model cars, so you don't really get an accurate positioning of the wheel once you've started turning it. Like any model, I've never seen a model that would have the kingpin axis, which would be in this plane here, this axis here, going down through. I've never seen it outboard enough, so it should be somewhere there, but actually it's in here somewhere. Okay, so single wing mirror, aerial, side indicators, obviously a European vehicle, European rear bumper. This really is the type of 911 that I think of as the 911 in terms of body style. Great vent recreation at the top of the rear window, and we'll see how many of the cars have that shortly. Okay, moving on to price is an important factor on these. I think these are going for around 170, 180 pounds, so up to 200 euros perhaps for one of these. They're out of production for a while. This might be the classic model to have with the Martini stripes, of course. Right. Okay, moving on to the roof. So this is a GT Spirit Rüf CTR. It is the Yellowbird, the prototype car with the rear vents. This has only just been released in September, October 2017. Properly done wheels there, the actual ones. This being the prototype doesn't have the venting here. Carrera style spoiler, so even though this is a turbocharged car, they took the Carrera engine and turbocharged it rather than taking the turbo engine, which means you also get the narrow body. So if we just do a quick comparison, looking at this bit here, the flare on the rear wheel arch is the dead giveaway. It's a narrow body car, whereas if we quickly look back to this one, much wider rear wheel arches. Now this appeals to me. I live in England, you get the small country roads, it's better to have a narrow car, otherwise you're going to have to go a lot slower. Right, okay, again, excellent detail all the way around. It does have the venting above the rear window, but not as well defined as the AutoArt. And obviously it's not an opening car. Interior wise, you've got the 4 seatbelts going to the back, you've got the roll bar, and if we take a peek in the interior, it's quite nicely detailed actually. Yeah. So overall proportions are spot on, really. You can't fault it at all. Ride height, spot on both ends. Tyres, spot on in terms of proportions. Looking at the tread, not quite as nice as the AutoArt tread. And of course you don't have anywhere near the engine detail you have in the AutoArt, because the AutoArt benefits from being the open model where you get to admire the engine from the top as well, so there's worth going to the extra effort on that car. A slight disappointment about this model is the front number plate in particular. You don't have the actual number plate that was on the car, MN911P, rather you've got a Rüf CTR logo, whatever it is, script, and really the number plate's not integrating well there. Of course on the car it was taken, obviously the roof is developed from this car effectively in terms of spec, bumpers and everything. They've replaced the whole front clip or bumper of the car and put a which had the number plate underneath into, really this you could say was the inspiration for the 964 front end. And speaking of that, we'll move on to the 964, and we've got a model from GT Spirit of Walter Röhl's actual personal car, 964 RS. You can see, we'll do a quick comparison of the front bumpers and indicators, a bit more rounded, a bit more road I should say, whereas this looks a bit more competition in terms of maybe just a bit cruder slightly really. This one has, where the roof has a more classic racing front grille for the water cooler. Sorry, not the water cooler. What am I talking about? I'm not sure what they were putting behind there, perhaps an oil cooler or something. You don't get that on here, but the number plate is better integrated. So when I say it was Walter Röhl's personal car, he had one of these and he had it for a long time. He might still have it, I don't know. But this is the model of the actual car, so gloss black with the orange detail on it, and the BBS style alloys, probably BBS alloys, it doesn't say on them, but they would have probably been standard with an RS. Slightly lower stance, which of course is much admired by the Euro look type Porsche collectors who love these models and then slam them down, put a bit of camber on them. Of course, Röhl is a driver, so he's not going to go nuts. But beautiful car. Right, okay, I can't see any vent detail on there, probably because on the other GT Spirit car, the roof, it was just painted on, and of course this being black, you're not going to see black paint on a black paint. But this is a nice car nonetheless. Single exit exhaust. Let's see if we can get to the interior. See if I can shade some of that. Not very well. Maybe round from this side. I'm not really getting in there too well. Rear of the seats, seat belt. But lovely detail on the wheels are gorgeous on this. It's just such a nice car. And being an actual, like the CTR, that Yellowbird CTR, it's an actual single individual car. This one is too. It's not a X, it's the X, if you see what I mean. Yeah, lovely. Traditional Carrera script down the side. Always appeals to the old school. Excellent representation on the seats there. Let's see if I can look in the cockpit a bit better from this angle. Not too well. Not too well. It's very black in there. I can't, even when I'm looking with my eyes without the camera, I can't really see the dials in there. But no rear seats on this car, of course. Right, again, I expect the underbody to be very similar. Oh, okay, you've got under trays here. Now, I would assume that rear under tray is spec for this car. So, no sight of the engine. Much better detail on the tyres on this compared to the Roof CTR. But then it's a more modern car with more modern, interesting tyres. Maybe that's part of why. But otherwise fairly plain. Obviously it's a sealed car. Right, and going on to the final car. Here we have the 964 RS 3.8. So this is the ultimate 964, unless you're a turbo type, in which case you had the 3.6 turbo. I don't know if there was a turbo S, but on here you've basically got the turbo body, and you've got split rims on that, so nicely dished on the back, which is one of the advantages of getting the turbo models. You've got more dishing at the back. Makes it look a bit more aggressive. You get the wider tyres in there. Looks to be the same seats actually they've put into this car as into the Röhl 964 RS. On this one you've got a rear window element, whereas on the Röhl 964 RS you didn't. Let's see if we can see the venting above the window. No, I can't see anything there. No venting there. Unusual. This model does have, well, you could call it an adjustable rear spoiler, but maybe it's just meant to come off because it comes off in the packaging and you have to stick it on yourself. So, but nice effect. Okay, so this one you've actually got a number plate, so it is a specific car, but I don't know where that specific car is. Maybe I'll pop it in the description if I find out. Let's go back to the detail here. So, for whatever reason, this car I can see in much better than in the 964 RS, the Röhl car. So, that's, I don't know why that is. Is the headlining different? No, it is black. Not sure why I can see into this car better. But basically it's got the same interior as the Röhl car, but with blue painted rear shells on the seats. Okay, but a lovely model. This is GT Spirit's first model car. If not, and this was available in this Maritime blue and also in a red, but limited production, so hard to get hold of. Actually, the Maritime red is more easily available. This one's worth more, about £140, maybe €160 or dollars. So going back to this one, you can still get these for about £100, 100 euros, something like that. These the same, but they'll probably go up in value, I suspect, more. And there we have it, really. Let's just pop this on the end of the line if it's not going to fall off. And oh yeah. Nice set of cars, really. Of course, I'm not into Porsche 911s at all. Right, thanks for watching. I'll have links in the description to my review of the Rüf CTR model. And there we go. Thanks. Bye.